A boy finds a clown toy box at home, and wonders where it comes from. At the same time, others also receive the toy box, but throw it into the trash as a prank. The boy goes to continue weightlifting, when suddenly a clown rushes out, grabs the barbell and pulls out a sharp saw. One crazy clown is scary enough, but if countless clowns with chainsaws break into a party, how do they run to escape? In 1991, several young people held a bonfire party beside a cornfield, but just chatting was boring, so after opening a clown toy box, one girl signaled her boyfriend to play in the cornfield. He understood right away and dashed into the cornfield, but the girl thought it was too straightforward, and told him to come catch her. The boyfriend chased after her, but after searching for a long time, he couldn't find a trace. Seeing she wasn't following the script, he shouted her name for her to come out. The boyfriend breathed a sigh of relief, but unexpectedly, she vomited blood and collapsed to her knees, dying before he could understand. At this time, the corn nearby rustled. The boyfriend took off running, but after only a few steps, he met with a terrifying clown who killed him. 2 decades later, a girl named Randy and her father moved to this small town. She found all street businesses posting banners about Clown Creation Day, because the townspeople believed the clown Frundo was the embodiment of justice, here to cleanse the town of all that's unbeautiful. Soon Randy and her father arrived at their house. Upon walking in, they heard strange noises from the chimney, and it reeked. When they got close, Randy grabbed something to test right away. Luckily, it was just an animal carcass. Her father then called a cleaner to resolve the issue. The next day, as Randy prepared to go to school, her father offered to drive, but Randy wanted to walk. When she opened the door, she bumped into a handsome guy. The guy introduced himself as Wade. Noticing they were new, he asked if they could walk to school together. They headed off, and Wade warned Randy there were many weirdos at school she should avoid. Randy said got it and went into the building, but she was so engrossed in talking to Wade that she was late for first period. The teacher started class without comment, oblivious that students had taken out their phones.
Be downright miserable.
The students burst into laughter. The teacher yelled, "Who did this?" But no one confessed. Unable to continue, the teacher handed out exam papers. Still angry, the teacher punished Randy, who looked confused, with detention after class, calling it the price for being late. Did you think it ends here? When students received the papers, they shouted that they had the teacher's dating profile instead. It was obvious they were behind this. The teacher was furious and called them social cancers, and stormed out of the classroom. After class, Randy asked classmates what was going on. They said it was routine. Teachers disliked them, so they made teachers' lives miserable. Randy asked why the town was so strange, feeling like it was stuck in the 90s. Jack piped up, "Blame my mayor dad. He hasn't developed the town and invented the stupid Creation Day festival." Randy asked curiously what was that. Jack said there was an annual parade, with a clown statue on a float. When clowns were mentioned, others showed their multi-million follower accounts, saying they acted out serial killer skits as clowns, gaining legions of fans. After school, Randy and her father Nolan went to a restaurant, laughing hysterically at her classmates' clown murder videos. Nolan told her to be more reserved, and asked why she got detention on her first day. Recalling what classmates said, Randy called their teacher a bad person. The waiter overheard, approached and asked for their order. Nolan awkwardly said no thanks, and the waiter glared at Randy before leaving. Just then, the town sheriff walked in and asked if Nolan was the new doctor. Before they could chat, Randy's classmates crowd against the window, interrupting. The sheriff said, "There are many delinquent teens here. I hope Randy isn't led astray." Upset at hearing her new friends criticized, Randy stormed out of the restaurant, meeting Jack and the others. She said she almost assaulted the sheriff for his rude comments. Her friends were pleased and said they would take her to a fun place. They went to a supermarket, where two of them staged a fight to cover for the others stealing. The owner rushed to break it up, begging them not to damage the store. The rest left money on the table and took several bottles of wine. That night, the group celebrated their victory. Though the stolen wine tasted bad, they even overpaid. Jack said he needed to use the restroom, but 2.5 minutes later, Jack burst out looking terrified, clutching a fake intestine, with a clown chasing him. Randy was so scared she almost stopped breathing, but laughter broke out. It turned out that the intestine was fake. The clown was also a fake, all for filming a video. Seeing Randy fall for it, everyone burst into louder laughter. The celebration continued. But Randy and Jack turned to a sad topic. Randy shared that her mother died of illness last year. Her father, overwhelmed, quit his ER job and moved to this town to heal. Jack replied that his sister also died last year. He took her to a reservoir, and an accident occurred. Jack drove Randy home. Moved by their heart-to-heart, Randy mustered courage to make a move. As things heated up, Nolan opened the car door and smelled alcohol. Furious that Jack drove drunk, he forbade Randy from seeing him again and dragged her inside. Randy resented her father, complaining she never wanted to move here, and he was ruining her first friends. The father-daughter argument ended in anger. In her room, Randy wept until exhausted, then watched videos. She laughed at Jack with the fake intestine until she spotted something odd. Zooming in, she saw a second clown in the corner. Terrified, she sent a screenshot to editor friend Carter. Carter opened the photo when a short video popped up. A clown waved from his doorstep, then pried the door open. Thinking it was another prank, Carter ignored Randy, grabbed a toy gun from under his bed, and charged out shouting, "I'll fight you." He searched every corner but found nothing. Back in his room, he saw a clown toy box under the closet, but he was still regarded it as a joke. After the kill, the clown carefully wrapped the body in plastic. The next day was the town's 100th Creation Day. At the mayor's order, a float with a clown statue paraded to honor mascot Frundo. Shortly after patrol cars leave, a naked clown burst from the crowd. Initially thought to be a fan, they threw a ball that ignited cornstalks on the float. The celebration turned to chaos. The mayor shouted angrily for the murderer to come out. Jack fled at his father's anger, but was suspected. He burned a warehouse in a bet last year, so police arrested his group. Randy begged for mercy, but Jack appeared unfazed. The next day, they were released. The mayor wouldn't jail his son, but as Randy left the station, her father was waiting. He scolded her for hanging with delinquents, and banned her from going out. In the car, Nolan said it was his new used car, hoping to mend their relationship, but decided it was pointless. Randy saw it was a manual and complained she couldn't drive stick. This would later put her life in danger. Gym-going Mike took a break, found a clown toy box beside him. After fiddling with it, he tossed it in the trash, unaware it was a murder warning. As Mike lifted weights, a clown rushed out, grabbed the barbell, thinking it was a prank. Mike told them to stop. The clown pulled out a saw, tied it to the bar. Mike realized he was doomed. The clown left satisfied. That night, grounded Randy got a text from Jack to join a graduation party. She sneaked downstairs, saw her father asleep and hopped in Jack's car. In the car, Jack gave her a clown toy box, saying they were everywhere. When they were chatting heatedly, he suddenly slammed on the brakes. Wade was blocking the road. Jack asked what he wanted. Wade invited them hunting, but Jack declined for the party. What a coincidence. The party was right beside the cornfield where the young couple was killed decades ago. Stood an abandoned barn, perfect for an outdoor party. Dancing around the bonfire, Randy had planned to confess to Jack, but got pulled into the dance floor instead. When the dancing died down, Randy finally led Jack into a nearby shed and let loose, convinced she'd win him over. She was stunned when Jack said, "This is moving too fast." Randy stood up, apologized profusely, then bolted from the shed. Outside, she ran into her friends Helen and another girl. Noticing Randy's disappointment, Helen said, "We've all tried and failed." It turned out Randy wasn't alone. Every girl who'd confessed to Jack faced rejection. The girls eventually concluded two possibilities: either Jack had someone else in mind, or he simply wasn't interested in girls. Just then, a scream tore through the cornfield. A female classmate had been shot through the heart with an arrow, dead on the spot. Everyone except Randy thought it was a prank, until a masked head was tossed over. Helen reluctantly inspected it, realized it was Kim's real head, and muttered, "Wow, that silicone mask looks so real." Randy checked the classmate's pulse and shouted, "She's really dead." That's when Helen and the others realized it was a real murder. Before they could react, a clown emerged from the cornfield. A male classmate yelled excitedly, "It's Frundo," then got a sword through the head. Seeing the horror, everyone fled in panic. In a desperate move, Randy used a pot lid to block an arrow for her friend, but this delay trapped them outside the barn. Randy banged on the door for help, but the clown charged. They turned to run, only to be saved when Wade burst in with a gun and shot the clown. Thinking the danger had passed, they asked if anyone called the police. "No signal here," Helen said. They decided to drive back, but Wade revealed, All the cars are sabotaged. Better to check the clown's identity first. Randy hurried forward at the suggestion, but before they could act, more clowns charged out of the cornfield. Wade fired first, but the shot only blew off a clown's hand. The act enraged the others, who charged forward ready to kill. Thankfully, Jack rushed in to help, allowing Randy and the others to flee to a nearby shed. Nolan went to Randy's room, thinking they should reconcile, and sat by the bed talking to himself. When no one replied, he realized she'd snuck out. Meanwhile, clowns attacked the shed. As they battered the door, Wade shot one dead, only 2 bullets left. Staying meant death. Just as they resigned themselves, Randy spotted a drain in the floor. Holding their breath, they crawled inside, fearing pursuit. Wade rigged a makeshift bomb at the entrance. He then gave Jack the shotgun for defense. Elsewhere, Nolan searched for Randy and found his clinic windows smashed. Wondering who'd rob a small clinic, Nolan panicked, insisting he didn't sell drugs, but was dragged to the OR. There, a clown with a severed hand lay on the table. They wanted him to operate. Nolan refused at first, but when they threatened Randy, he complied. Mid-surgery, a walkie-talkie in the clown's pocket buzzed. Curious, Nolan sent another clown to get supplies, then slit the pocket and swiped the walkie-talkie. Randy and the others escaped through the sewer, but Wade stayed to detonate the bomb. Luckily, he slipped away in the chaos. The group tried crossing the cornfield to find a farm and call police, but met with patrol officers, hoping for rescue. They were mistaken for pranksters. Cops seized Jack with the shotgun and drove off, leaving Randy's group confused. Helen refused to wait and wanted to find help, but the cornfield made visibility impossible. Sure enough, a clown appeared behind them. They ran, only to face another clown ahead, forcing them to dodge sideways. Exhausted, they crouched silently, listening. When corn ahead rustled, Randy and the others covered each other's mouths. It was a ruthless ambush, but Randy reacted quickly. She grabbed a rock and smashed it into the attacker. Then the group scrambled up and fled, but there were multiple clowns in the cornfield. One of them charged ahead, recklessly, spraying blood onto Helen. Terrified, she bolted in the opposite direction. After running for ages, they found a shed and entered for help. To their horror, a clown lay in the living room, but it seemed to be dead. They searched the house and finally found a phone, but it wouldn't connect. Even creepier, the wall had photos of Randy and her friends, alongside group shots of clowns, and a familiar clown toy box sat on the table. Nolan, desperate to save his daughter, ripped off the EKG pads to fake a cardiac arrest, shoving a defibrillator into another clown's hands to help. While the clown fumbled with the defibrillator, Nolan stabbed him in the carotid artery, urging, "Don't move, there's still a chance." But the clown didn't believe him and bled out. Proof of their medical ignorance, Nolan quickly tuned the walkie-talkie and heard the clowns, planning to take the girls to an abandoned factory. He raced there right away. Meanwhile, Randy eyed the toy box, suspecting a trap, and she was right. The dead clown had been meditating, and impaled Helen on a fork, pinning her to the ceiling. Randy grabbed a vase and smashed the clown away, but it wasn't fatal. As the clown charged again, she had no choice but to yank the fork from Helen's body. She grabbed car keys from the wall, only to find it was a manual. Unable to start it, she regretted not learning stick shift. She was captured and taken to the factory. When Randy woke, she discovered the killers were the town's teachers, police, shopkeepers, even the restaurant server who'd glared at her. As Randy demanded answers, the mayor burst in. "It's a Creation Day tradition. We purge the town of rotten seeds." She tried appealing to his fatherly love for Jack, but the mayor snapped that he'd disowned his son. He continued, "The factory made us prosperous in the 1930s, but outsiders keep ruining it. First vagrants, then 60s hippies selling drugs. We won't let anyone destroy our peace again." Deeming the youth lazy delinquents, he declared, "We must cleanse them, keeping only those useful to the town." Then dropped the curtain behind him, revealing his son hanging mid-air. The mayor's ruthlessness stemmed from resenting Jack for burning the factory, and blaming him for their daughter's death last year. A person who can't protect his sister has no value. Randy called the mayor crazy, vowing the truth would come out, but he produced a fake suicide note in Jack's supposed voice. Rejected by his love, he snapped, killed people, then himself. Jack finally snapped, "I didn't mean to burn the factory. Sis's death was an accident. The town stagnates for peace, restricting us from living freely or leaving. We prank because we're trapped." But the sheriff and others raised their guns, done with his excuses. Nolan took out several goons. Enraging the sheriff, Randy grabbed a taser, electrocuting him mid-shot, then fled to a makeup room, donned a clown suit, and ambushed another sheriff from behind. The mayor knocked out Nolan, drove away the car under Jack's feet, leaving him to hang. Wade arrived just in time, shot the rope and kissed Jack. Jack confessed, "I thought Wade liked Randy at least." Randy, relieved, hugged her waking father, vowing to communicate instead of rebelling. With Nolan's help, Randy mastered the stick shift, then saw another chainsaw. Wielding clown ahead, Randy decided to leave town, but Nolan stayed to run for mayor. Driving off, she found a clown toy box in the back seat, and angrily tossed it out. The film ends here. Many people joke that the plot is cliched. After all, with classic works like it and the Terrifier series, it's a bit difficult for this film to break through the competition. The slow first half frustrates viewers, with clowns appearing late, but it has highlights, updating 80s slasher tropes with phones and social media. For example, teens film clown pranks for social media, not realizing real killings will follow. The blur between reality and parody offers a clever satire of social media. The twist is smart, making viewers think teens deserved it, then revealing the older townsfolk are the real villains. No wonder the teens overpaid at the supermarket. They rebelled against conservatism, challenging authority through pranks, staying awake. Too bad these metaphors are barely explored. Digging deeper would have made the film richer.